Bitcoin has seen an explosive move towards 81,000. Will Bitcoin continue towards 85k? Is Bitcoin going to see a short-term correction? How are those macro charts developing? And will the altcoin market enter a parabolic phase? These are questions we're answering in detail in today's video. Let's jump on in. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. In today's video, we are taking a look at the recent explosion in price action of Bitcoin above 80,000, the short-term charts, the macro levels, key targets, and even the altcoin market cap. Before we get into it, smash that like button, hit that comment button, and subscribe to the channel. We post daily videos for Bitcoin focusing on the facts, the data, the technical, and the structural information. No hype, no BS, no emotion, pure raw TA. If that is the kind of content you are interested in, join us on Telegram. It is the first link down below. You'll get access to charts, updates, videos, educational posts, news events, and everything you need to stay in the loop for cryptocurrency with Bitcoin and the relevant economic news. And if you are interested in taking your trading to the next level, you can join us on VIP. We have nearly 700 members. We post trading setups with exact entry prices, exact targets, exact stop losses, trade justification, exclusive analysis, and so much more. You'll also get access to our group chats, our general chat, our trading chart and education chat, our daily video, our help, our news, and our trade setup chat. Go ahead and contact me via the pinned comment in the free channel by clicking my name or these links for more information. Let's go ahead, guys, and jump on in. So as we can see, over the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has seen a whole bunch of volatility pushing upwards nearly to 82,000. Absolutely insane move for Bitcoin. We talked about in Telegram yesterday that if we were able to see a breakout of our diagonal resistance, this resistance right over here at around 77.5, we would see, and I quote, Bitcoin would break this rising trend line towards the upside. It is highly likely we would see an expansive move straight to the 79 to 80k region. We saw that move happen within basically 1 hour, an absolutely crazy candle. And as Bitcoin continues upwards, a lot of people start asking questions such as, when is Bitcoin going to correct? Are we even going to see a correction? What are the macro targets for Bitcoin? Are we going to see a parabolic altcoin season and more? And these are questions we're answering in the video today. So let's move over to the market data to start. 24-hour volume is up 120%, insane, 336 billion. 24-hour liquidations up 141%, 690 million. Of the 690 million, 313 million have come from long liquidations and 376 million have come from short liquidations. And that is a testament to people's decision making. It is a testament to the emotions behind the current traders, which is essentially indecision. There's a lot of chop going on, but there's a lot of indecision at this level. People are starting to question, is Bitcoin going to start pulling back? Should I start entering shorts? Or are we going to just see this green push continue higher and higher? And we are starting to see that indecision reflected in the liquidation data. We're answering all of that today. So let's move over to the DXY. The DXY is looking pretty decent. Again, we are sitting above our change of character. A breakdown of the change of character will very likely result in a strong correction into the 100 region. Okay, if we lose 100, which is our nearly a 2-year-long support, we are then expecting a very strong move over the coming months into 96. Now, that will be a parabolic move for risk assets if it were to occur. Now, there is a warning sign, and that is this downtrend. If we break through this downtrend, we are going into our yearly resistance. And of course, if we see that move, there is a chance we see a little bit of risk coming off the asset market, so we could see some corrections develop if that were to occur. However, I do not believe that is likely. I do believe the most likely alternative is that we tap that resistance and then we come back on down. Moving to the S&P 500, fantastic S&P 500 performance over the past year and a half. If you've been following our channel, we have been bullish since right over here, and our target have been 6,000. In fact, we have told you every video for like a year and a half, 6,000, 6,000, we're going to 6,000. We have now hit 6,000. So the big question is, Whale, what is going to happen next? Well, let's talk about it. We are in price discovery. We don't know the key levels we're going to reach. We are based off psychological levels. Now, we are using an invalidation method. Essentially what that means is while the trend remains up and while the trend remains bullish, we are bullish. And I know it sounds kind of dumb, it sounds kind of obvious, but you'd be surprised that most people can't identify a trend. So simply, we are watching the prior highs and lows, our higher highs, our higher lows, our higher highs, our higher lows, our higher highs, our higher lows. What we can notice is all of our prior highs have never been lost on a weekly chart. We have retested, we have retested. The moment we invalidate that pattern, the moment we come down and invalidate and break a weekly below a prior high, wherever that may occur, whether it's up over here or whether it's over here, that is going to be, in our opinion, the initiation of a downtrend, and that is when we're going to be turning bearish. So until that happens, we remain bullish for the S&P 500. We expect higher. And that is it, guys. We have a whole bunch to take a look at today. Like we said, we're going over altcoins. We're going over Bitcoin short-term price action. We're going over the key levels on the macro and talking about our channel. So before we get into it, go ahead and sign up to BitGet, BitUnix, or BingX. We've got a 15% lifetime trading fee discount with the links down below. You'll get up to 45% discounts on your trading fees based on your trading volume. You'll support yourself in your trading journey. You'll support me making these videos. And of course, guys, you can use any of those links and you just need to choose one of them. So go ahead and do that. We'll play a quick ad and we'll jump back in. I'd like to introduce our partner, BitUnix. BitUnix is a global, non-KYC, no country restriction exchange, making it a perfect exchange to trade on if you're from the USA, from Canada, the Netherlands, or just prefer to trade without KYC. This exchange is a futures and spot exchange with over 200 different trading pairs and some of the lowest fees in the game. If you sign up with my link down below, you'll get access to 15% off your trading fees, as well as an exclusive reward center where you can claim up to a multitude in USDT prizes. So go ahead and sign up with my link down below for 15% off, and I'll see you in there. Okay, legends, let's go ahead and jump into the chart. So we are taking a look firstly at the total altcoin market cap and answering a very big question, which I have been asked a whole lot lately, whether it be through DMs, whether it be through YouTube comments, or even just in my group chat. Are we entering an altcoin season? Is altcoins going to go parabolic? And is it a good time to buy altcoins? These are questions we're going to go ahead and touch on right now. So there are two key levels we are watching in terms of resistances and two key confirmation points we are watching. The first confirmation point was, of course, our breakout of our macro horizontal consolidation. We told you guys when we see a 3-day breakout of this consolidation, it is highly likely we see a strong continuation for altcoins into 760. And this is kind of where we enter that accumulation and movement phase for altcoins. We start to see altcoins move. We start to see some stronger coins really take away from the market. We start to see which coins are performing better and which coins are starting to lag. This is a pretty decent time, I think, for altcoins, and we could see this move develop into what we will call a parabolic season. We're discussing that in a second, in just a moment. The second key level is going to be our macro downtrend. This is a speculative trend, as it does have 2 points, essentially taking from the all-time high of the altcoin cycle back in 21 and the all-time high of the altcoin cycle back in 24. As we can see, we have actually broken through these regions. So we do have a pretty good indication here from a horizontal and a diagonal point that altcoin market is an uptrend. We are seeing altcoins rally. It is highly likely this uptrend continues towards our next levels of resistance. So let's talk about our targets. Our first target is going to be 758 billion, simply the March high. If altcoins want to enter a parabolic cycle, we of course need to break through the March high. So this level is going to have to be a resistance we break through. And if we do not break through, we could see a correction back to retest these horizontal levels. If we break through 758, we are expecting a move into the most important resistance for altcoins, and that is going to be the 850 billion level. This is our yearly resistance. This is the dead cat bounce high for altcoins before we saw mass capitulation towards all-time lows. If we are able to break through this region, we are going to see an equal and opposite reaction. This downward reaction we saw here, we will likely see toward the upside over here. We would then enter, quote unquote, the parabolic phase for altcoins. So for altcoins to go parabolic, that is the level we need to crack, 850 billion. Do I think we got a good chance at breaking that? Maybe 50-50. Do I think we have a very good chance of reaching that at least? Yes, I believe it is highly likely we'll at least reach that level. And if we break that level, well, all the merrier. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin dominance is beginning to drop. Now, there are two things we need to see for altcoins to really start to gain a lot of strength. That is, Bitcoin dominance needs to drop, which means essentially the market share for Bitcoin is decreasing. And number two, we need to see the total market cap increase, which we are currently seeing as we speak. Now, if we look at the total market cap, the measured move expectation for the total market cap is that we complete the depth of the descending channel applied to the breakout. We are looking for a move to closer to $3 trillion. So at the moment, we have a total market cap increasing, we have altcoin market cap increasing, we have Bitcoin dominance decreasing. We are kind of creating that perfect storm for altcoins to begin to increase or rise in value. Now, a lot of altcoins are up 20-30%. I wouldn't be buying the peaks. I'd be watching those key ones, watching ones to accumulate, and watching ones that haven't really performed the best yet, but are not particularly dead or underperforming for potential accumulation over the next few months. Let's go ahead, guys, and take a look at the Bitcoin price action. So this is Bitcoin, and as you know, if you've been following the channel, we have been religiously saying that over the last 8 months, this is a descending channel formation, and it is a bullish accumulation pattern, meaning an eventual break toward the upside was more likely than a break toward the downside. And anyone with a brain would have known that, because again, macro descending channel formations are simply an expression of the decisions buyers and sellers are making over a period of time, and that expression is defined in regards to what we see with momentum, which is as selling pressure eventually begins to diminish and buyers eventually begin to step in. And we saw that occur particularly in the start of August, where we saw a positive momentum shift on the weekly chart. The weekly RSI broke out, and we started to see these higher lows develop, which we are still seeing developing, and these higher highs develop, which we are still seeing developing. This is an indication of a strong trend, and we have the momentum rising to back and support this trend in regards to its strength. So we do have a very clean trend over here, and it has been objectively bullish for quite some time now. Now, if we take a measured move of this channel, meaning we take the depth and we apply it to the breakout expectation is that we come and reach 85,000. So if we look at the breakout, we have basically completed 2/3 of this 8-month expansion, this 8-month breakout in the matter of a week, which is absolutely insane. And we talked about many times in this consolidation, we told you guys that the longer the consolidation, the longer the compression, the more reactive the breakout. I use an analogy that it's like a pressure cooker. The longer the pressure builds up, the bigger the explosion. And we have seen a freaking massive explosion for Bitcoin over the past few weeks, which has been great. But we are expecting Bitcoin to reach 85,000. The big question is, are we doing that now? Or are we going to see some short-term pullbacks, maybe into these lows, before we see the eventual continuation? But I am actually expecting 85,000 to be reached. Now, we'll come back and talk about the short term in a second, but let's move over to our macro chart. So while we remain above the range high, while we are in this movement toward the upside, and short-term levels we'll discuss in a second, we are again using something called an invalidation method. The same method we're using on the S&P 500, we are now using on, of course, Bitcoin. Since we are in a price discovery region, meaning we have no historical data at these levels, meaning we don't know how people react at these particular horizontal price points, because we haven't been here before, we have to make some assumptions and infer how the price is developing and where it is likely to go. And the best way to do that is to simply trade off invalidations. So invalidations meaning, while we are in an uptrend, we assume the uptrend to continue until the uptrend ends. So as per the weekly chart, what would define the uptrend being over? As per what we've seen historically, the uptrend will be over when the weekly candle closes below the leading span A and the upper band of the Gaussian channel on the weekly chart. When that occurs, historically, we have entered macro downtrend. So until that happens, we can only assume Bitcoin is in a macro uptrend. So we are remaining macro bullish, expecting our targets to be reached until we see the invalidation of the trend. Now, the targets can take some time to play out. If we look at our monthly chart, we can see according to two different theories. We've got the 12 and 18 bar theory, but we've also got the traditional 4-year cycle theory. The traditional 4-year cycle theory is only predicting a top for Bitcoin in around November, I think it's around October 6, 2025, based on the 1,026 days or 1,056 day date range trend, only around October 2025. So there's some time for that 4-year cycle to play out. And like I've said already, the 4-year cycle is only invalidated when we do not create a new high at that point, or we do create a new low on Bitcoin before that point. The 4-year cycle is simply just a date range trend. It's just a measurement of how the price is likely to move over a particular period of time. It does not give price targets. It does not give expectations of short-term movements, simply that we create highs and lows between these predetermined dates. Now, there is a possibility we see an earlier top for Bitcoin. As per the 18 and 12 bar theory, that would bring a top to around March to April 2025. That simply measures the distance, or essentially how long it has historically taken from breaks of prior all-time highs and breaks of yearly bear market resistances to reach a new all-time high, and to simply take that distance between 12 and 18 bars, apply it to the yearly breakouts of the bear market resistance and the prior all-time highs, and that gives us a top around March and April. So if we see a potential top for Bitcoin before March and April, we have to take that at less of face value, I mean apply less significance to it. And if we see a top after March and April, we could probably apply a little bit more significance to that. And that is how we're playing the macro charts. We are expecting higher for Bitcoin, provided our invalidations are not yet met. Let's move over to the short-term price action. I'm going to keep this very, very simple. There is an uptrend for Bitcoin, which is this diagonal trend line. Provided this diagonal trend line remains intact, we are expecting the price to move into 85,000. If we drop below this trend line, only then do we expect corrections. Our correction targets will be our prior highs, looking at 73,000, okay? And if we lose 73,000, then we are in a whole lot of trouble. But I do not think we will lose 73,000. In fact, I don't think we're going to see that correction play out, but if we do, and if we come into this region, I will be looking for reversals from that region. Let's take a look at this one more time. While we remain above the uptrend, as I said, I am expecting 85,000, but there are some short-term levels we do need to pay very close attention to, particularly the most recent level of support we literally just developed this morning, that being the $79,000 level of support. This again is going to be our double bottom over here, our 79,000 support. We have a VRPV gap taking us down to the POC below here, meaning if we lose this level, it is likely we retest that uptrend, which is that macro uptrend we just discussed. So while we sit above here, we are expecting a move to 85,000. If we drop below here, we are expecting corrections toward the uptrend. And if we lose the uptrend, we are expecting corrections to 73. None of those moves take away from the fact that Bitcoin is macro bullish. None of those moves decrease the probability of 85,000 being reached. It simply just drags it out longer. And that is perfectly fine. We have seen a massive move. It is normal to see profit taking in the market. So let's move over to a very small time frame now. We can see on the 5-minute chart over here, we do need to start breaking through these prior high points for Bitcoin to continue upwards. Again, we have got our prior highs sitting around 81.4 to 81.7. Again, a break of this region will result in that continuation in that next leg. If we do not see a break of that region, it is highly likely we eventually come back down to retest this lower region of support for, again, another bounce and a reattempt to break through, or that correction into 70, just that uptrend. I think I was sitting around 76,000, maybe a little bit higher, $76.5 thousand. And that is it, guys. We're going to keep it there. I don't want to go into too much detail. There's a whole lot to talk about. We'll kind of space it out. But thank you for tuning in. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll catch you in tomorrow's video. See you then.